My name is Sami Assad. I'm a member of the Islamic Center of New Mexico. Many of you know me and have attended vigils outside the ICNM. This one hurts like no other. It's a community prayer. Today we hold one to perhaps have some healing and some closure with some words from our leadership and our clergy. I, for one, as a mother of 9, have had probably the hardest week of my life. I have young men and daughters, and the young men that we lost were very near and dear to my heart, as well as the rest of the community. So may Allah have mercy on them, and may He have mercy on all of us. I will start today with the Imam of ICNM to start with a prayer. Sheikh Mahmoud Al-Dinawi, Imam Mahmoud Al-Dinawi, please come on up.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. All of us, we really appreciate your coming, your support, and thank you so much. So let's start with some Quranic verses and then some prayers. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين ولا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم وما يلقاها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلقاها إلا ذو حظ عظيم. The translation is, who is better than in speech? Who is better in speech than the one who calls for his Lord with the beautiful? And he said, I am surrendering myself to the will of God. Evil and good can never be the same. Always deal with people kindly. Maybe the one you have enmity with would be turned to be your friend. And then the prayer, oh Allah, we ask you, oh God, we ask you at this moment, at that time, with this blessed, beautiful gathering, to bless all of us, to keep all of us safe in our homes, in our work, in our job, to keep this city, to keep this state, to keep US, to keep every corner of the globe safe, and to make all of us enjoy the blessings you give. Protect all of us, make all of us united, make all of us loving one another. Ameen.
Barakallah feek, Imamna. Next up, I will have my brother, the president of ICNM, Mr. Ahmad Assad. Come on up.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you all. I won't be long because you have a lot more interesting people to speak tonight. What a show of support that is incredible. I have to tell you that it touches upon us. It touches our hearts, every one of us. The outpouring of support from the very beginning has been incredible, but it's certainly reflective of our state and the warmth of its people. I want to thank everybody for attending today and helping us with prayer for all 4 of our members, our sons, our brothers that were killed tragically, and with the utmost, if you will, astonishment for the community. It's just, I can't put enough words to tell you how shocked we were, and how much this community has suffered as a result of the killings, and how we just can't make heads or tails of it. We're still in a very surreal time trying to make sense of the senseless killings that that we've suffered. But having said that, I want to leave this on more of a positive note. I want to thank the governor for appearing today, Mayor, First Lady, and we have our ambassador as well that joined us, that flew in from Texas, from Houston this afternoon. Welcome. I will tell you that it means a lot for us to be able to reach out to our broader community members for support in very trying times. It reassures us that we have support when we need it most. Every one of you, by just appearing here today, has demonstrated your commitment to the safeguarding of our community, to safeguarding our children, to your commitment to the well-being of our community, and that's really important. I see many friendly and wonderful faces here today from various walks of life, from different denominations that are represented here today, all faiths, all multiple Christian faiths, and our brethren from the Sikh community who's, I don't even think they're a separate community, quite frankly. I think that we love them so much that we consider ourselves one community, alhamdulillah. We have members of the Jewish community that have always also been very strong allies of our community here. We have spiritual people in every denomination and that are represented today here. What an incredible showing. Thank you so much once again for being here today. It means a lot on behalf of our entire community, and we pledge steadfast strength in getting through this, and hopefully we can end this cycle of violence. Hopefully this latest development today, through everybody's efforts that you see here today, from the support that we received from the mayor's office, the governor, all the way down to Chief Medina, APD, and law enforcement partners, Sheriff's Department, State Police, certainly ATF, the U.S. Attorney's Office and District Attorney's Office. I don't want to miss anybody because there's so many wonderful partners that partnered up with us to get us where we are today. We have somebody in custody today that's a positive for this community. It gave us a sigh of relief today, and it's going to be a long journey because that is the process in the state, right? With protections of our judicial system, we respect it. The presumption of innocence is there, but I have to tell you, a sigh of relief has definitely permeated this community. So onward we move, adelante, and hopefully the worst is behind us. Our hearts are with the families of those that we lost. I want you to pay special prayers for all those that we lost. That's why we're here today, Brother Imtiaz, representing our loved Muhammad Afzal, who is our shining star moving up the ladder in the community here in the state, and others, all three of them, Aftab and Mr. Ahmadi, Zahra Ahmadi, and certainly our latest loss, Naeem Hussein. All, we hold them very close in our hearts, and we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives them their sins. We hope that He greets them in the best of greetings and enters them in the highest of heavens, al-Firdaus al-A'la, inshallah. So we appreciate you guys very much, and I will turn it over to my sister to honor our guests and have them come forward. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you.
Next up, I want to bring our Honorable Governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the Islamic Center and the greater Muslim community, not just here in Albuquerque, but statewide, for your outpouring of love and kindness and these open invitations to share with you in your healing and in unity in this really tough moment, not just in the city, but across, frankly, the state and the nation. Most importantly, I want the families to know that your grief is our grief, that as you heal and hurt, that pain is pain that will be embraced by the entire state. Frankly, I think your nation is mourning with you, and we hope that in some space that provides comfort, because that's important to us today. And maybe the most important message is the presence of everyone here today, from the faith-based community to members of this community and to Albuquerque at large, that there is incredible strength in witnessing everyone who is here today. And for the folks who couldn't be in the room in this moment, I know they're praying with you and they're standing with you. There isn't anything that can be broken or that we can't heal from if we stay unified, committed, strong. We lead through hope and love and faith. If we continue to do that, we can increase support for each other. We can make this a kinder, better, perfect place to live and to raise our families. And in the last 3 years in particular, this community, the city, the state is no stranger to incredible loss, anxiety, grief. And so for so many families, from COVID to fires to floods and to these painful, horrific, unexpected, unfair, unjust losses, the strength in everyone coming together and shouldering those burdens, I know unequivocally, because I've seen it over and over again, heal an entire community, change the trajectory of where we are from this moment, bring light into the thinnest of cracks, breaking open new opportunities and supports for the people that we care about and love. Again, I want to thank you for being strong. I want to thank you for supporting the city's efforts. I want to personally thank the mayor and all of the law enforcement community who did, in fact, work very diligently and around the clock together, literally leaving no stone unturned. But they will tell you, and did report that today, that their efforts were aided by the bravery and courage and earnesty of the public and of this community, in fact, specifically. That tells me that that strength and courage will live beyond this moment, and as a result will honor the lives and the memories of those who we have lost. And that shining hope and love and commitment to a better future for all of us is exactly what we need in this moment. I thank you again for having me today. I thank you for showing me such incredible hope and commitment to each other. And that, in and of itself, as I said, is what will make all of this begin to lighten those burdens and to make us all a little bit more whole again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ahmad. Thank you, Samia. Thank you, everyone who is here.
Thank you, Governor. You honor us. The governor has other commitments, as you can imagine. We appreciate very much the time that she's committed to us today. I know I joined her in that press conference earlier, and she has reached out to me a number of times, pledging her support through this whole ordeal, and she's been an incredible asset of support and confidence for our community. So we thank her, and we understand that she's got other commitments. I wanted to let everybody know. Samia, please.
Next up, I'd like to invite up our mayor, Tim Keller, and our First Lady, Elizabeth Keller.
Well, good evening. Let's try now.
It is such an honor for us to be here for this gathering, and I think reflective, as Ahmad and Samia and the governor have mentioned, about what this space means to us in terms of the power of community and the power of the links between communities that's evident today. That's been evident over the last week as folks were working together around the clock to address what is still unimaginable fear and sadness and grief. And so a note, from our family and from so many families, as the governor has mentioned, that we are holding that grief together, and through a healing process that got some small sigh of relief today, but a process that we know is long and hard. As we mourn together, as we heal together, know that we bring that from our family, but from so many families around the city and the state and the country that feel that draw strength from the beautiful community gathered here today and all of the bonds of community we have seen recently and will continue to need in the days coming forward. So thank you all for being part of that. Thank you for continuing that, for showing up for each other in this process of grief and of healing as we go forward.
We have gathered here before, those of us members of this community, even in this space, and even members of the interfaith community who are here when there have been tragedies around the country, tragedies that affect folks of certain faith orientations, certain beliefs. And we've seen this, of course, unfortunately, because of the hatred that is, unfortunately, part of America. We have always gathered in Albuquerque to stand against that in other places. But this week, right, it was our turn. Those were dry runs about how strong this city is. We've been through this before, not with our own children, not with our own family, but we've been through it with families across America. In this week, no doubt, we were faced with something that directly was opposed to who we are, an inclusive community, a community that for centuries has demonstrated inclusion, especially across faiths, a community that's actually been doing this a lot longer than most of America. And when it came to us, we know we were also filled with the same real reactions that anyone feels. The phone calls and the conversations that I had with people afraid to leave their house in our community in Albuquerque. The conversations that we had with respect to even our community members in terms of what can you do to help? How can we be there for each other? But in even just a short time frame, we saw that we would not let this divide us. We would not let this stand in the face of unity that we have historically always shown, in unity that today does bring us some sigh of relief. But it was unity around supporting law enforcement. I want to thank this community and everyone who even looked for that car, for anyone who reached out to offer to help this community. And that's probably almost everyone in this room by the fact that you're here today. But I know it's much, much bigger than that. Whether it was our 311 lines or 242 cops, there was an outpouring of not just sympathy, but how can I help? And this did lead to a lot of the reasons why we were able to do what we needed to do on the law enforcement front. And I also want to extend gratitude to this community for not giving up on Albuquerque. We will be there for you every time. And I know that's not just me, that's everyone. I also know that for us, what happened and what we've seen with support, whether it's small things like meals or whether it's trying to do what we can to provide trauma services, we're going to continue to do that. And that absolutely also means public safety, as we know. And so there is a long journey ahead. There is always a long journey ahead. But this has reaffirmed that we are on that journey together. And I know that tonight, I hope despite the mourning, the grieving that we're going through, the memories of loved ones that we have, that there is some semblance of a renewed safety and a renewed faith in our city, in that which makes us special. And I also know that going forward, we are going to continue. We are going to continue to build on the relationships that we've established and that were established before this to make sure that we move forward in that one Albuquerque spirit. And with that, I want to thank everyone for being part of that spirit and that action for those of you who showed up tonight. Thank you so much.
Next up, I would like to invite up a visitor, Consul General Abrar H. Hassani. He is Pakistani, based in Houston, Texas, covering New Mexico.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm so thankful for all of you who are here tonight and express their solidarity, condolences with the families who have lost loved ones. We all have those identities, and one of the identity is we all human. And that humanity unites us. And that part of our identity is here at exhibit tonight. And I'm so thankful for each one of you. And first of all, I'll start with the Islamic Center. They have done a fabulous work in a sense that they keep the community informed, keep the community together, and also provided necessary leadership for all this saga which the community and individuals have gone through. I'm also here to convey deepest condolences from the leadership on my own behalf and the leadership of Pakistan. We are aggrieved. We believe that this event which has just occurred, this has checked our resilience. It has united us. This has provided us this space to breathe and also come back and express our solidarity with all those who have lost their loved one. And I cannot thank enough the leadership of Governor just left, Governor Grisham. I have also conveyed her our thanks, and I think what she has done is that she has brought a healing leadership. And that healing leadership has been at the exhibit and brought together. And to Mayor Tim Keller and Elizabeth, thank you very much for being here, being with your own community. And I'm here, an outsider, expressing the sympathies. But I can understand how hard those days and nights have been. And then together for coordinating that leadership, bringing everybody on one platform, I think that's a tremendous job. And I really convey all my thanks to you. And I think that's the leadership which is needed at that hour, which you have exhibited. Thank you very much. And through you, to Congresswoman Milani, to all the law enforcement agencies, to APD, to ATF, to FBI, everyone who has worked behind this. And thank you very much for bringing that healing touch and bringing to a level where the confidence has regained. It was never lost, by the way, but they have come back and also gathered around, and the communities huddled each other. And this resilience, this faith, this belief process has brought us together tonight. And let this space be a space of hope, unity, faith, inclusion. And than healing. I also take a moment in thanking the US leadership, from President Joe Biden to Vice President Kamala Harris, Governor, to everyone down. And once again, please accept deepest condolences. I'm here to also know any counselor needs the families may have, those who want to send back the mortal remains or anything which we can do. Please feel free to contact us. Once again, thank you to brother, both of you, for leading the brother Asad, brother Tahir, for leading the way and keeping us all informed and together. And at the end, I must say thank you to all the faith leaders who have come tonight to express their solidarity and be part of their prayers, that may Almighty, may Allah, may Lord, Guru, keep us all together and keep us safe, and those who have departed, may their souls stay in eternal peace. Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum.
Next up, we will invite up Tahir Gaba. He is the Director of PR at the Islamic Center in New Mexico.
Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to thank Governor Michelle Grisham, our Mayor Tim Keller and his wife, Brother Abrar Hashim, and all of you guys for coming tonight, showing the support for Muslim community. This is the one Albuquerque that Mayor always talk about. I believe at the NM Islamic Center of New Mexico, we have 30 different ethnicities that attend this mosque on daily and weekly basis. And no matter our differences, times like that, we all come together, and today is a proof of that. We have people from every faith showing their support for one cause. I know we cannot bring back the one we have lost, but we can pray for them, we can pray for their families, and moving forward, hopefully, incidents like doesn't happen, but it is not in our hand, but we can all work together, like all of the law enforcement agencies who have worked so hard. They have worked 24/7, and within weeks, they have gotten a suspect. Tonight, Muslim community will sleep in peace. Last 2 weeks have nothing but nightmare for our community. And all of the support, all of the telephone calls me and my board members have received from the different communities, we really appreciate you guys. And once again, thank you so much for coming. And inshallah, we'll all see you soon under the better circumstances. Thank you so much.
I would like to ask the imams of different centers, if you're here, to please step up. Imam Abdul Rauf, if you're here. For now, Archbishop Interfaith Coordinator, Monsignor J. Voorhees, would you please come?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Monsignor Voorhees, Archbishop Wester's representative tonight for interreligious concerns, and he is having a service tonight in the Cathedral of Santa Fe, the Cathedral of St. Francis, where he is leading a service on nonviolence, commemorating Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So he sends his prayers and his support and those gathered with him in their dialogue tonight as they will offer prayer for all of your loved ones and families. Our prayer is, eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. May their souls and the souls of the faithful departed rest in peace. Amen.
Can I please have Rabbi Deb Gartenberg? Please come on up. He's the former rabbi of Congregation B'nai Israel and convener Shabbat with Friends. Thank you. If I'm missing anything, please cover that.
That's good. Shalom Aleichem. Salam Aleichem. I would like to look at a famous section of the Torah, of the Hebrew Scriptures, that I think points to our challenge. And that's the story of Cain and Abel. Without going into the full story, I think it's familiar to most everyone. Cain, when confronted by God about what he has done, says, Hashomer achi anochi? Am I my brother's keeper? The challenge for us, and it's always an ongoing challenge, is to turn Cain's question into an assertion. Cain said, Hashomer achi anochi? Am I my brother's keeper? But we who follow the story have to say, Hashomer achi anochi. I am my brother's keeper. And that is why we are here tonight. One other point I want to make about that passage. Shomer in Hebrew means sentry or guard. So the best way, I think, to translate the verse from the Hebrew is to say, am I my brother's sentry? Am I my brother's guard? Am I the protector of my brother? And I believe that is the way to understand it and what the assertion is. We are sentries for our brothers. So when the whole community comes out like this, we are saying, we are your sentries, we are your guardians, we are your supporters, and we are with you in your grief and in times of trouble. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum.
Mr. Kolbier Singh from the Sikh community. Please come on up.
I represent Sikh community, but more than that, I represent humanity, and that's why we all here. When something like this happens, we rise above our religion, we become one as a community, as humanity, and it shows of all of you being here that love and oneness is above everything. And this should be a reminder for all of us, just not in these kind of incidents, but in life in general. When we are with each other, we are much better. And it reminds us life is very short, live it to the best, and if you can do something for somebody else, that's the higher purpose in life, and that's what the religion is all about. So thank you very much for coming here and spread love and not hate. And that is more needed, and not just here, not in just community, all over the world. First humanity, then everything else. Thank you.
Can I please welcome up here Ms. Anila Abad of the ICNM, the General Secretary.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Shalom, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, Assalamu alaikum again, and good evening to everybody. Seeing so many different ethnicities under one roof is who we are at ICNM. I'm overjoyed, I want to share with all of you, overwhelmed and overjoyed in the last 10 days that have been very difficult days for us. The amount of support we are getting. I manage the social media for ICNM. And the amount of emails pouring in, the support we are getting from every faith, you name it. And all of you sitting here under this roof, I pretty much heard from so many of you. I've responded back to you, showing your support, showing your solidarity, going above and beyond, and offering meals, coming in and offering transportation, dropping in flowers. Thank you so much for that. That is what we need to defeat the evil in this country. It shows that there's so much more positivity out there that can heal negativity. We are hurting right now because our young, brilliant stars, shining stars, young men died for no reason. It hurts me more because I lost my dad 18 years ago in a similar shooting. And the wounds are very, very fresh. It doesn't get better. But what has made better or made a difference all these years is friends like you. So thank you so much for your support. Continue to do that because that is what makes us better humans. Thank you again.
As you can see, trauma has been triggered. We will need to uplift one another in days ahead of us. We have a heavy lift ahead of us. And right now I'd like to welcome up Miss Anita Amstutz, pastor of the Mennonite Church.
My friends, my neighbors, I am humbled to be here before you, and from my heart to yours, the friends and family of the deceased, I want to tell you that we are suffering with you, that we understand in our tradition, the Christian tradition, that when one part of the body is harmed or hurt or suffers, we all suffer. We have experienced an enormous loss with the death of the precious lives of Naeem Hussein, Muhammad Asfael Hussein, Aftab Hussein, and last year Muhammad Ahmadi. We are so grateful that each of them brought their unique gifts, their love, their care, their passion, and compassion to our community here in Albuquerque through their work and all the services they provided for so many of us. On behalf of my community, Albuquerque Mennonite Church, as a historic peace church, I want to extend our grief and our solidarity with you, this community, the Muslim community, the Afghani-Pakistani community, as you mourn the senseless and violent murder of each of your brothers since last November. My people would want you to know that we are lighting candles and praying for the families and each of you as you face the fear. And we are ready to act and be of service and support in this time. And that violence will not prevail, we know that. And the courage and love here in the beating heart of your community and this gathered community is greater than hate. I want to be very clear, as a Christian community, our brother Jesus, peace be upon him, came to bring the message of peace. Hate will never be tolerated. We denounce any hate or violence. And those who have targeted each of these men, we pray that their hearts will be changed and someday they will understand the value of the lives that they have taken. May the merciful Yahweh shine his face upon each and every one of you and bring comfort and kindness. And Jesus, peace be upon him, as he said in the gospel of peace, My peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. May the God of peace make you whole and holy, and keep you all safe in body, heart, and mind. Shalom.
Next up, I'd like to bring up our youth, the representative of the MSA Muslim Student Association, Mr. Omar Farouk.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for attending. From the student community, our hearts are heavy, and we're sick with like a nauseous kind of sense of grief. But amidst all of this, as we see all the lovely faces here, our hearts are warmed by the continuous outpouring of support from you, the Albuquerque community, and at larger. And speaking from the behalf of students, we are incredibly afraid. We're very, very fearful, even with the developments as they are. But looking to the practice and the sunnah of our Prophet, peace be upon him, it's okay to be fearful. Our Prophet himself was a wanted man. But at the same time, he taught us that we're just not the type to run away, to hide. We're not going to go anywhere. And our community here, members and people like you, are showing us that support. And while we have received more updates from the police, and we hope to continue more, we know that whether it's one or whatever, it doesn't matter, the disease that caused this person to cause this crime is still alive out there. And that's something that we need to work hard to eradicate. Whether it stops here or over there, it's in our community, it's in us, and that's something we have to work in ourselves and with each other. And so right now, as a student leader, we believe that students can have a part in that. We use our unique voice, perspective, and energy and attitudes to push for both short-term and long-term change. The MSA, the Muslim Student Association, along with many others at the UNM, are working hard to build a coalition to make a long-lasting impact that will benefit the legacies of these four brothers, but also of our city safety as well. I'll end off, it's just so hard to take comfort in an unimaginable time like this, but I often find myself returning to the 5th surah in the Quran, and it describes the importance of humanity, that whoever kills a soul, it will be as if though he has killed all mankind. And we see that in the first half in the past few weeks, not just one, but four of our beloved brothers, and it leaves a permanent mark on us. But in the 7th surah later on, the second half of this, which I find emotional and uplifting, is that to save one life is as if we saved all of humanity. And I believe we as students and as a community need to work together to make sure this is the last time something like this ever happens. Thank you for your attention.
Our youth give us our hope. Next up, I'd like to invite up Brother Abdul Rahman. He is the Vice President of ICNM. Dr. Abdul Rahman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you guys for attending. This really means a lot to us, I have to say. I just got off the clinic today. I was working just down the street, and I'm very proud to see the level of support I saw from my coworkers, from my patients. I had one of my patients even cry in the clinic today, just really pouring her heart out, showing her support for the Muslim community. I always prided myself. I swear I've been saying this all my life, for the last 20 years since I came to Albuquerque. I've been saying that, me and my family have never experienced any sort of hate from Albuquerque. I've been always very proud to say that. And inshallah, God willing, this will continue to be the case. Albuquerque has been such a loving community, a diverse community to the Muslim faith and to the Muslim community, and we really all appreciate this tremendous level of support that we see. It really means a lot to us. It tells us that we're not alone in this. And the minister, she mentioned a passage where when one part of the body is ill, the whole body becomes ill. We have a very similar saying from our Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him. He said when one part of the body is ill, the whole body responds with a fever to shut off that infection or to shut off that illness. And this is how Albuquerque is. We all respond together. We all overcome things together. And you guys don't understand how much this really means to us as a community. Thank you very much for attending. I'm going to turn it over to our Imam so he can close us off, inshallah, with... We're not closing off. Okay.
The doctor wants to leave.
I'm on call tonight, so...
There you go. That's it. He doesn't want to miss the good work. Thank you for all you do. I'm so proud of the team at the Islamic Center of New Mexico and all the Muslim community. We have shown unity and strength in the face of evil, and may you continue to guide the community and lead us. Next, I would like to invite up Sue Joyner, pastor, First Congregational United Church of Christ.
A long, staunch supporter.
My dear friends, we stand with you, we grieve with you, and we love you. I'm reading a prayer that was written by Reverend Lynn Hinton for your community. It's called A Prayer from the Vale of Tears, and it's based on a line from Psalm 84 that says, "Who passing through the vale of tears makes it a spring." I do not know how much weeping it takes before tears turn to springs. Is one mother's grief enough? Maybe two? Is it four? Or does it take a village to mourn a child the same as to raise her? I do not know how many deaths there must be before guns are fashioned into planting tools. Will it be when there is nothing left to break, open the earth, the plows and the pruning hooks beaten down from digging too many graves? I do not know how many prayers must be prayed and vigils held and hands wrung in sorrow and mosques and temples guarded for worship. How many men to kneel and children to shake in fear? I do not know how many candles must be lit and solemn bells rung and funeral hymns sung. But maybe, if the psalmist is right, maybe one day God hears us, this village lost to violence. Maybe one day we say, enough. And like justice rolling down as water, righteousness an ever-flowing stream, the tears will change to springs of love's plenty cascading falls of peace. And finally, and evermore, those tears, our weeping, will be exactly and just enough.
Can I please have Reverend Jeffrey Parker, pastor, New Life Presbyterian Church, come on up.
I was watching today for developments, and I had my remarks written out. Very impressed with myself about it, and then things changed, and I panicked, and then I looked again and realized the words were still the right words. My name is Jeff Parker. I am the pastor of New Life Presbyterian Church here in Albuquerque. I am only now learning how to be helpful, but I'm here to offer whatever we have as a community that can be of use to you and yours. You are my sisters and my brothers in faith. Do you need someone to go to the store for you, to pick up children from school, to stand at the door and be part of a protective wall? I'm only now learning how to be helpful, but I'm here to offer whatever we have as a community that can be of use to yours. When the COVID virus first hit, my wife and I were living in Arkansas, and it became clear that the wearing of masks could limit the spread of disease, and she and I wore them when we were out in public and about. But in the rural part of the state where I worked, wearing a mask became a political statement, and many people in that area believed that the virus itself wasn't real. As I went throughout the state and traveled in town after town, it seemed as though everyone there knew someone who had died of COVID. People who had refused to be inoculated and who may have, even on their deathbed, insisted that there was no such thing as COVID after all. I'd go into grocery stores or gas stations wearing a mask, and people would glare or mutter or stare as if I was the enemy. I wanted to slow the spread. I wanted to protect my neighbor, my faith, the person who I aim to be. I want to love my neighbor and be part of a healthy community. I tell you this because I gave up. I quit doing that. I stopped wearing my mask, among other things I stopped doing, because I wanted to look like everybody around me. I denied what I knew to be true in order to blend in. I unbecame who I was and what I believed so that I would not be a visible target. I could hide there at the store, in the gas station, unmasked, incognito. But I found that in doing that, I'd given up. I'd given up on my neighbor and in my faith, and I had decided not to love them. Last year, I fled Arkansas and moved here to New Mexico, and now that I'm here, I'm your neighbor. I'm not going to unbecome myself again. These murders are evil. They are the spiritus mundi made flesh. As sisters and brothers of faith, we renounce them. We will not be made to deny our true selves. We will not let go of our faith, of our calling to meet evil with love. We will not dream of a violent spasm of revenge, but we will hold one another up. We are sisters. We are brothers in faith. And although I am only now learning how to best be helpful, I'm here to offer whatever I have, we have, to be of use to you and your community. We will not unbecome.
Next up, I'd like to invite up the brother of Muhammad Afzal, Mr. Imtiaz Hashmi. Come on.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. When I heard the news about my brother died at 1 o'clock midnight, I cried. Oh, I'm alone here. How will I bury him? So I got scared. But the early morning, when I saw a lot of people coming to my house, they were pouring in from all walks of life. From last 7 days, the kind of sport I have witnessed, it's incredible. I always had faith that this is the Albuquerque we are living. I've been living here for 9 years. We had been going to UNM, University of New Mexico, Zimmerman Library at midnight. We are going to Frontier Restaurant at 1 a.m. We never happened. This is Albuquerque, things happen. People steal from outside. We see cars are vandalized. But we never saw that something, a person who is loved by everyone and ambushed in such brutal way. I thought, no, this is not Albuquerque. No, this is not people from Albuquerque who has done that. I witnessed that. I came from another culture. And this is the second culture. I lived here for 9 years. 2 times I left this state and went to Virginia and Massachusetts. I felt alienation over there. I came back. I saw, wow, this is a diverse state. Here I feel that I belong to these people. So today, what the truth revealed, that this is the incident, heinous crime, has not done with the people of Albuquerque. So I'm thankful for the collective effort of law enforcement agencies. I had faith that those who are shooters or hate-mongers, they cannot escape from iron hands of our law enforcement agencies, including APD, FBI. I'm thankful to ex-foreign support. First of all, ICNM. This is our base. I didn't know these folks. I was living very dormant life. No one has seen me. My brother was visible, but I was not. So even I didn't know that, and all the members of the board, they were raising voice for me. I didn't met Melanie Strasbury. She rose voice for us. I never met Mayor Tim Keller, raised voice for us. I have never seen Governor Michelle Lujan. They raised voice for us. So I'm thankful. Today I'm here to thankful to Albuquerque's state of New Mexico. I received love, which I feel with truth that I'm more than I'm living in my country, Pakistan. So only thing, I'm thankful to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. That was powerful. I'd like to invite up Reverend Frank Yates, Presbyterian clergy person.
Grace and peace to each of you. Tonight I celebrate the Abrahamic tradition, a tradition that's so rich with Jewish communities, Christian communities, and Muslim communities. And what do we have in common? We have in common a God who loves us fiercely and passionately. We have a tradition that human life is sacred. All three traditions have this injunction: thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder. So we gather tonight because that injunction has been violated. Thirdly, we have a spirit of caring among our communities that we need to celebrate this night. I've been in this community for 22 years, and I have seen love in the Abrahamic tradition, and I'm awfully grateful. Peace and grace.
I'd like to invite up Mr. Salim Ansari, President of the Afghani Society.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Thank you all for coming and participating in this gathering, especially government, the governor of New Mexico, and dear Mr. Mayor, his wife, and other officials, Islamic Center, and other members from some churches and some other communities. I don't have much word to say in this moment. Just the only thing I'm saying, I'm shocked, I'm upset, in the same time as happy. I'm happy because the person who committed crime is in custody. That's a good news. We are all happy. I'm sad because we lost four of our Muslim brothers. They were young, they were killed with no reason. I'm shocked because the murderer or the person who killed these four Muslim brothers, unfortunately, he was a member of Afghan Society of New Mexico. I'm so sad and shocked about this. It is hard to speak in this time, but anyway, but still I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. The person who I know for 3 years, and he was a member of Afghan Society of New Mexico, he committed this crime. As far as I know him, he was very calm person, he was very humble person, he was very nice person. He raised 6 kids, very beautiful kids. They are very, very honest, very good kids. They are attending the mosque all the time. All the families, they are attending to the mosque. That is why I was shocked to hear the news that happened from that person. But without I know I have a speech in this time, sorry if I make any mistake or something. God bless you guys. Thank you for coming here and having our grief with you guys and sharing our grief with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, can somebody lift this up for me? Can you hear me? Our next speaker will be Rabbi Min Cantrit.
We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here this evening gathered to mourn our fellow Albuquerque citizens who are simply trying to live a good and noble life until they were targeted senselessly, violently, tragically. In the face of the unimaginable, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to say. We're sad, we're angry, we're confused, we're frightened, and we're resolved. But most importantly, we're here together. Being here is an act of compassion, of care, of love. Sometimes silence and a loving presence are the only answers that we can bring. Silence holds the potential for words of comfort. Presence holds the possibility of harmony, solace, and companionship. Because all we really have, all of us, are memories and moments. We have many memories of precious shared moments. And while we are alive, we have moments in which we can share those memories and create new ones. Let us use our moments to treasure our memories. Let us use our memories to enrich our moments. Let us pray. O divine source of blessing, who we know by many names in each of our traditions, we pray together. We pray to our infinite creator and guide, source of compassion and mercy, and source of justice. Be with these people and all of us in our sorrow, grief, and fear. Surround us, our loved ones, families, friends, and neighbors, with your protection and your love. Holy One of blessing, help our brothers and sisters. Their lives have been torn apart and will never be the same, and yet memories will in time, be a source of comfort. Help us guide and support each other patiently toward truth and righteousness. Oh, our helper and guardian, be with us now and always, and restore our broken hearts and souls. May their memories be a blessing, zichronam livracha. May we all be blessed with peace and harmony. So may it be. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome up Sister Marlene Perot, Interfaith Power and Light. Please come on up. My Shiro, by the way.
My name is Sister Marlene Parrott, and I'm a Catholic Sister of Mercy. And I offer a reflection this evening for Interfaith Power and Light of New Mexico and El Paso, realizing that as we address climate change, we must have radical climate changes of heart for justice, love, and right actions in our community. Our Muslim brothers who have transitioned in love to an unknown world of love. This is a moment of lamentation. Our Muslim brothers are our brothers, my brothers. And in this climate of violence, we lament that we fail in embracing differences, we have forgotten that love is unconditional and that love is inclusivity. And as my Sikh brother reminded us, we are humans. We belong to humanity, and we are one family. And as others have said, our bodies are one, and we are one family, and we are very grateful that we have been included in our Muslim community, and we lament, and we lament that we have failed in love. But all of us have shortcomings. All of us need to pray that what blocks us from love may be transformed through love. Thank you.
Next up, can I please have Miriam Bennett of the Albuquerque Friends Meeting Quakers.
Greetings from the Albuquerque monthly meeting of the Religious Society of Friends. or Quakers, to the members of the Albuquerque Muslim community. We of the Albuquerque Monthly Meeting of the Religious Society of Friends, Quakers, extend to you our deepest sorrow and outrage over the recent murders of members of our Muslim neighbors and members of your community. There are no adequate words to express the overwhelming impact of the loss and terror it must bring to you and your families. We offer you our prayers and support, holding you and all our Muslim neighbors in our hearts and in the light of the most sacred. We are deeply affected and grieved by these attacks on a precious and valued part of the community we all share. As a faith group, we have always strived to work for mutual love and respect among all faith communities and to support immigrants, refugees, and migrants among us. In this very difficult moment, we urge our own members to be a caring and watchful presence for Muslim neighbors and friends and for your homes and families. We understand that it must be extremely difficult to know whom to trust right now. People from our community are listening, ready to do what you feel is most helpful. Know that we welcome your guidance on how Albuquerque Friends, as a meeting, as an individuals, may most appropriately support you at this time. We stand in solidarity with you and commit ourselves to speak out and be a presence with you in the face of this violence, with deep regard and prayerful concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite up my friend, Mr. Paul Avik, from Jewish Voice for Peace.
I don't think we've ever been on the stage together.
Never.
Okay. Hi, I am with the Albuquerque Jewish Voice for Peace, and we have worked closely with members of the Muslim community on many events and discussions over the years, and we are horrified and grieving at the murders that have taken place. As Jews, we have a long history of being targeted for our religion and background, but we can only begin to feel the devastation and fear that the Muslim community in Albuquerque has been experiencing. We would like to offer our support and help in any way we can. Please let us know what we can do to help the community heal. I hope that with the arrest of a suspect, the fear may start to lessen, but not the mourning for lives lost. May you all go tonight in peace and safety.
Mr. Bill Fernandez from the Baha'i Faith, come on up.
The Baha'i Faith community of Albuquerque would like to convey to our Muslim brothers and sisters our warmest love and tender affection. I'd like to offer a prayer for the departed. It was written for one person, but I'm sure you can hold 4 people in your hearts as I read it. O my Lord, He is God. Exalted is He, the Lord of loving kindness and bounty. Glory be unto Thee, Thou, O my God, the Lord omnipotent. I testify to Thine omnipotence and Thy might, Thy sovereignty and Thy loving kindness, Thy grace and Thy power, the oneness of Thy being and the unity of Thine essence, the sanctity and exaltation above the world of being and all that is therein. O my God, Thou seest me detached from all save Thee, holding fast to Thee and turning fast to the ocean of Thy bounty, to the heaven of Thy favor, to the day star of Thy grace. Lord, I bear witness that in Thy servant Thou hast reposed Thy trust, and that is the Spirit wherewith Thou hast given life to the world. I ask of Thee by the splendors of the orb of Thy revelation, mercifully to accept from Him that which He hath achieved in Thy days. Grant then that He may be invested with the glory of Thy good pleasure and adorned with Thine acceptance. O my Lord, I myself and all created things bear witness unto thy might, and I pray thee not to turn away from thyself this spirit that hath ascended unto thee, unto thy heavenly place, thine exalted paradise, and thy retreats of nearness, O thou who art the Lord of all men. Grant then, O my God, that thy servant may consort with thy chosen ones, thy saints and thy messengers, in heavenly places that the pen cannot tell, nor the tongue recount. O my Lord, the poor one hath verily hastened unto the kingdom of thy wealth, the stranger unto its home within thy precincts. He that is sore athirst to the heavens at the river of thy bounty. Deprive him not, O Lord, from his share of the banquet of thy grace and from the favor of thy bounty. Thou art in truth the Almighty, the gracious, the all-bountiful. O my God, thy trust hath been returned unto thee. It behooveth thy grace and thy bounty that hath composed thy dominions on earth and in heaven, to vouchsafe unto thy newly welcomed one thy gifts and thy bestowals, and the fruits of the tree of thy grace. Powerful art thou to do as thou willest. There is none other God but thee, the gracious, the most bountiful, the compassionate, the bestower, the pardoner, the precious, the all-knowing. I testify, O my Lord, that thou hast enjoined upon men to honor their guest, and he that hath ascended unto thee hath verily reached thee and attained thy presence. Deal with him then according to thy grace and bounty. By thy glory, I know of a certainty that thou wilt not withhold thyself from that which thou hast commanded thy servants, nor wilt thou deprive him that hath clung to the cord of thy bounty and ascended to the dayspring of thy wealth. There is none other God but thee, the one, the single, the omniscient, the bountiful. Baha'u'llah.
So, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to close it out with a Muslim prayer, again with our dua. Our Imam, please come on up. Imam Mahmoud Dinawi again. Just before he starts, I just want to let everybody know I see each and every one of you. I recognize my indigenous brothers and sisters in the back there. And I recognize all my friends. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving us some healing space. We really needed you today.
لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. Translation. Allah the Almighty doesn't require of any soul more than what it can afford. All good will be for its own benefit, and all evil will be to its own loss. Our Lord, do not punish us if we forget or make mistakes. Our Lord, do not place a burden on us like the one you placed on those before us. Our Lord, do not burden us with what we cannot bear. Pardon us, forgive us, and have mercy on us. You are our only guardian. O God, O Allah the Almighty, we ask you at this moment to bless all of us. You are the main source for mercy and forgiveness. We ask you to shower our brothers who passed away with your mercy and forgiveness. We ask you to give their families, their beloved ones, support and assistance, and to reconcile their hearts. To keep all of us, to keep our community, to keep Albuquerque, New Mexico, America, every corner of the globe peaceful and safe, to make all of us enjoy your blessings, to keep all of us united, loving one another, caring for one another, to give the best and full reward for everybody who is working so hard for the benefit of humanity. Amen.
At this time, we would like to ask all of the media here if they want to ask any questions or if they want to interview anybody, if you can please go to the multi-purpose room. Thank you so much. And I'd like to thank every one of you on the behalf of the Islamic Center of New Mexico and community of Muslim community of Albuquerque. We have some snack and water in the multi-purpose room. If you like to have some, please help yourself. Once again, thank you so much for coming. Inshallah, we'll see you next time under the better circumstances. Thank you.